Thank you for your interest in the Krannert School of Management at Purdue University. Since you are watching this video, you have probably decided to, or are at least considering, changing your educational plan to include one or more of Krannert's 8 major options: a major in management, finance, accounting, marketing, strategy and organizational management, or supply chain information and analytics. There is also information in this video about CODO requirements for industrial management and economics. Students pursuing either of these majors will be held to standards that are slightly different than those required of Krannert's other majors. We will take a particularly closer look at the requirements needed for economics later in this video. These requirements will be referred to as the Economics Admissions Index rather than the Management Admissions Index. You already have all of the information you need right at your fingertips. Before clicking on this video, you should have been able to see each step of the CODO process listed on our webpage for your convenience. Step 1 asks you to review the change of curricula steps published by the Office of the Registrar. Upon visiting this site, you will be prompted to print out the Request for Undergraduate Change of Curricula form, which may also be referred to as a Form 705. In short, you will need to bring 2 copies of this form to your current academic advisor for permission to change your major. Once your current advisor approves this change and signs both copies, you will then bring the forms to the Krannert School of Management Undergraduate Programs Office. Please be aware that the Krannert advising team will only be accepting CODO paperwork during select predetermined dates each semester. As a rule of thumb, any student can submit paperwork during the first 2 weeks of a given semester, both fall and spring. However, if you are hoping to CODO into Krannert on a date that is not during the first 2 weeks of the semester, you will need to abide by the time frame listed on the initial web page where you found this video. It is now time to discuss what should be the first and perhaps most important question to ask yourself. Am I eligible to change my major into Krannert? Basically, there are 2 ways to CODO into Krannert: as a lower division student or as an upper division student. Lower division simply means that you have not yet completed the Management Admissions Index courses. These consist of microeconomics, first year composition, Calculus 1, Calculus 2, and an introductory accounting course. As stated at the beginning of this video, students pursuing industrial management will have to meet slightly different CODO standards. Specifically, these students will need to complete the math combination of 161 and 162, or 165 and 166. These are slightly advanced and more rigorous math courses, which have been deemed necessary to prepare students for the more technical and engineering-based aspects of this major. If you are intending to CODO into one of the aforementioned majors, the first thing you will need to do is determine if you have completed or are in the process of completing your final MAI courses in the current semester. If the answer is yes, refer to the upper division CODO requirements to determine if you are eligible. If the answer is no, refer to the lower division CODO requirements to determine your eligibility. Let's take a minute to review the CODO requirements for both upper and lower division together. Upper division is for students who have completed or are currently completing their final MAI courses. These students will need to have accrued 12 or more credit hours at the Purdue West Lafayette campus. They must have a minimum of a 3.0 GPA in their 5 MAI courses, as well as a 2.5 overall minimum GPA. Finally, these students must have a C- or higher in all of their MAI courses, as well as any completed School of Management course, which includes subjects in Econ, OBHR, and Management. As for industrial management students, you will again be governed by slightly different rules. Because of their advanced math requirements, these students will only need to meet a minimum of a 2.65 GPA in their 5 MAI courses, as well as a 2.4 overall. These students will also need to have completed 2 or more physics or chemistry courses with a C- or higher to gain direct admittance into upper division. If you meet all of these requirements, your CODO application materials will be approved and you will be informed of your admittance into the Krannert School of Management via email. For all potential lower division CODO students or those who have not yet completed their final MAI courses, the requirements are a little different. If you are someone who falls under this category, you will need to meet the following requirements: a minimum of 12 credit hours completed at the Purdue West Lafayette campus, a 2.5 overall minimum GPA, have Calculus 1 or an equivalent course completed with a C- or higher, and finally, have a minimum of a C- in any of your completed MAI courses. Any industrial management students hoping to CODO in as a lower division student would instead need a 2.4 overall minimum GPA and have completed Math 161 or 165 with a C- or higher. Of course, failure to meet either the upper division or lower division requirements would mean that you will receive an email bearing unfortunate news, that of your denial from Krannert. If you do happen to receive a denial notification from Krannert, you may attempt to retake courses in order to improve your GPA and apply again as a CODO student in a subsequent semester. Quite often, there are students who CODO into Krannert who have earned credit for courses that are similar to the MAI core classes. Calculus 1 is perhaps the best example of a course for which there are reasonable substitutes. As previously noted, Math 1610 is the first required math course in the MAI. However, grades of C- or higher will also be accepted for Math 161, Math 223, or Math 231. Because each of these courses covers the core learning outcomes for Calculus 1, they will be taken into consideration. Additionally, students should be aware of 3 structured rules pertaining specifically to MAI retakes. First, if a student is unsatisfied with his or her original grade in an MAI course, or if that student has completed all MAI courses with a GPA that does not meet requirements, he or she may choose to retake up to 3 of these 5 courses. However, Management Admissions Index courses or their equivalents may only be retaken 1 time for a grade. Finally, if a student CODOs into Krannert as a lower division student still needing to complete 1 or more MAI courses, that student's previous enrollments in Math 161, 162, 165, or 166 will not count toward the retake policy. It should be noted that these retake policies will also apply for students pursuing a major in economics. This leads us to our discussion on the Economics Admissions Index, otherwise referred to as the EAI. As noted at the beginning of this video, the initial course requirements for economics are unique from the rest of Krannert's majors. Economics students must complete the Economics Index, which consists of the following courses: Econ 251, Microeconomics, English 106, First Year Composition, Math 16010, Applied Calculus 1, Math 16020, Applied Calculus 2, as well as Computer Science 235, Organizational Computing, and COM 114, Fundamentals of Speech Communication. Unlike students following the MAI, economics students will not need to take the introductory accounting course in order to reach upper division. Finally, those hoping to change their major to economics will also be able to CODO in as either an upper division or a lower division student. If you are thinking about changing your major to economics, please take a moment to review both the upper division and lower division CODO requirements. These will help you determine whether or not you are currently eligible. At this time, feel free to pause the video and read along at your own pace. Now that we have covered each of the steps and requirements involved in the CODO process, please take a moment to review. Again, feel free to pause the video if needed. After completing this video, you will be prompted to complete a corresponding survey. Please print off the confirmation that you have completed this survey and bring it with you in your CODO application materials. Hopefully you will now be able to make an informed decision about your educational journey here at Purdue University. If you have further questions regarding the CODO process, please look for posted walk-in times on our CODO webpage or look for the contact information on the right-hand side of the screen. Last but certainly not least, thank you for your time. Please remember to complete the corresponding CODO survey and print off your confirmation at the completion of this video.